Hello ladies and gentle ladies, welcome back to another Minecraft modding tutorial for 26.1 MultiLoader. And in this tutorial we're going to be adding a creative tab. Let's go ahead and get started. So aside of the common package, we're going to come into source main Java and we're going to init, and then we're going to create a new class which will be called mod creative tabs. We will go ahead and make this final and we will add our usual private constructor, and then we're going to add our normal public static void load, which will go ahead straight away and call that inside of our common class. We'll call mod creative tabs.load. Then what we will go ahead and do is come into our iRegistry helper. So let's go services, types, iRegistry helper, and we're going to want to make a method in here to go ahead and help us out. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a registry handle of creative mode tab, which will be our register creative tab. We'll pass in a string name, then we're going to have a string translation key, then we're going to have a supplier of item stack, which will be the icon, and then finally we're going to have a consumer of a creative tab output, which is going to be the entries. Let's make sure we import supplier from java.util.function. So then we're going to create this class that it wants us to create. So this is actually going to be an interface. We'll do interface creative tab output. We're going to just annotate this with functional interface just to make it more obvious, and then we're going to add a void accept, which is going to take in an item like. Then let's just make sure that this consumer is imported from java.util.function. Once we've done that, we can now go ahead and create our implementations for this method. So let's go ahead and start inside of the Fabric one. So let's go into Fabric. Let's go into source main Java. Inside of services, we'll come into the Fabric registry helper, and we'll go ahead and override our register creative tab. Inside of here, we're first of all going to want to get the ID. So we're going to do identifier ID is equal constants.id, and we'll pass in the name. Since we don't need to create a resource key for this one, so we're not going to bother creating one. Then what we can go ahead and do is actually create our creative mode tab. So we'll do creative mode tab, which will be the registered, and we'll set that equal to registry.register. We're going to pass in built-in registries.creative mode tab. Then we'll pass in the ID. Then we're going to pass in fabric creative mode tab.builder. Then we're going to put the title, and we're going to pass in component.translatable, which will be the translation key. Then after .title, we're going to do .icon, and we're going to pass in the icon. Then we're going to do the display items, and we're going to generate this with IntelliJ. We're going to rename parameters to underscore since we're not going to use that. And then we're just going to do entries.accept, and then in here we'll pass in output : accept. Then after display items, we just want to call .build and put a semicolon on the end. Then all we need to do is return a new registry handle. Inside the ID method, we can return the ID, and then inside the get method, we can return registered. Finally, put a semicolon on the end. Now for NeoForge, this will be pretty similar, but we're not going to be able to quite copy paste it. So we'll have to come into here and do it one by one. So let's go into the registry helper. We're going to come to the very top and we're going to create our deferred register first of all. So let's do a private static final deferred register. This will be of type creative mode tab, and we'll call this creative mode tabs, and we'll set that equal to deferred register.create. We'll first pass in the registry, which will be registries.creative mode tab, and then we can pass in our mod ID like that. Then let's just make sure in the register method here that we are calling creative mode tabs.register event bus. Then at the very bottom, we are going to have the register creative tab method, of which we're going to basically replicate what we had inside of here. So this time I am actually going to copy all of the contents, and we're going to work on rewiring it a little bit. So first of all here, this creative mode tab needs to be a deferred folder of type creative mode tab creative mode tab. Then instead of registry.register, this will be creative mode tabs.register. And we're going to get rid of this built-in registries. And we're instead just going to pass in the name. And the second parameter here will be a supplier. And instead of fabric creative mode tab.builder, this will just be creative mode tab.builder. And the rest should stay exactly the same, other than our get method, which just needs to be registered.get. Now here we have actually still called this registered. Let's keep it consistent with everything else we have in here and rename this to deferred tab, as that's just a better name. Now I will say with creative tabs you can add other things to it. So for example, on the builder here you can add the aligned right, you can add a background texture, you can add a hide title, you can say no scroll bar, label color, scroll bar spike location, search bar. You can add all of these different things if you do wish. To do that you will obviously need to modify your register method to pass in extra details, whether that be booleans, whether that be other parameters, but that is up for you to look into. This is just how you make a normal creative tab that's like the majority of tabs will use, hence we're just doing it like this. Okay, once all of that is done, we do need to go ahead and add this to our ENUS, and more importantly we actually need to register it first of all. So inside of mod creative tabs, we're going to create a public static inal, and this will be a registry handle of type creative mode tab. And I'm just going to call this example underscore tab, and I'm going to set this equal to services.registry register creative tab. We're going to pass in example underscore tab. Then we'll pass in item group, which needs to be item, and then group actually needs to be capitalized here. So this is a bit of a weird Minecraft quirk. And then you want to put dot, then you want to put plus, and then constants dot ID or mod ID, constants.mod ID plus dot, and then the name of your tab. So in this case, example underscore tab. Now, if you want, you can simplify this by actually doing this inside of your registry method. And actually, I think we will go ahead and do that just because that's much simpler, and it means we don't have to specify it here, and so that's all janky. So what we'll actually do, we'll do this in Fabric first. So here where we have the translation key, we'll actually just get rid of that translation key parameter. And inside translatable in replacement, we will just go ahead and put that string. So we'll do item group dot, and then we're going to put plus constants.mod ID plus, and then as the second parameter we'll just put the name, and we'll basically just copy paste this for NeoForge as well. So we'll come into NeoForge, we'll do the exact same thing there, and then we'll just get rid of that string translation key. And the important thing is we need to get rid of that string translation key from our iRegistry helper as well. And now that means that inside of our mod creative tabs, we can just go ahead and pass in the next parameter, which is the icon. Now the icon for us is just going to be a supplier of a new item stack, which is going to pass in mod items, and I'm going to use example item as my icon. And then we just need to call .get. And then finally we have the entries. So here we can just do output, and then we can do a lambda. There we go. And inside of here, basically you just choose all of your items that you want to add to your creative tab. So you can go ahead and just do output.accept, and you can manually add each item if you wish. Alternatively, you can do a different thing, and that is to stream over the Minecraft registry and take all of the items that have your mod ID. Now that is the way I am going to do this, so I'll quickly show you how you do it without that. So for example, you would do mod items, so example item.get, and then you would go new line, and you would do mod items example item 2 .get, and etc. You get the point, right? That's how you would do it manually, but we don't want to do it manually, we want to do it automatically. So what we can do is we can do built-in registries .item .entry set, and then we're going to stream the entry set, and then we're going to filter, and we're going to take that entry, and we're going to say entry, and we're going to get the key, which is the resource key, and then from the key we're going to get the identifier, and then from the identifier we're going to get the namespace, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say objects.equals. We're going to paste that in as the first parameter, and as the second parameter, we're going to pass in constants mod ID. Then what we can do after we've done that, we can go ahead and then map that. So we can map, and we can say entry.getValue like that. And it will say that can be a method reference as well. So after we have mapped this will give us effectively a list of all the items in our mod. However, we don't really want to just make it a list. We instead want to loop over the list and add them to the output. So the easiest way to do that is just to say for each, and we can actually do for each ordered, which will mean that it's in the order that it is registered. That's ideally how you would control the order. It's the order that you register your items in. So for example, this is my order, right? So first item in my tab would be example item, then example item 2, then the sword, then the spear, then the pickaxe. At the very end would be the boots. That's basically how that works. You could also sort this, right? So you could sort and then do your sorting function, if you will. If you want to just have a completely custom order that's like independent of registry order, then you just can't really do it this way. That doesn't really make sense. So you don't just have to manually add them. But generally, I just recommend use the registry order if you can. But we'll say for each ordered, and we'll just say output : accept. And then we can just get rid of these curly braces here. But then that is basically done. So now that we are done with that, we just need to go ahead and add this to the NUS. So let's go into our data gen, into the English language, and let's come down to the very bottom, and we're going to add. And here what we're going to want to do is we're going to try and grab it from our creative tab. So let's do mod creative tabs to example tab, and then we're going to do .get display name, and then we're going to pass in example tab as the name, and that will use the method that we have right here to hopefully translate our tab. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and run the data gen, and then once that is finished, we can load into the game and we can see if it works. All right, so as you can see, I have just loaded into the game, and here are our tabs. So they have worked. So in Fabric here, you just need to go to this page thing on the top right, and then you'll see our tab. On NeoForge, you have these two big buttons at the very top, so you can just switch to the right page. This will show up basically when you have multiple pages. So yeah, you can see in here that we have our tab. Now you will in fact notice that it is not using our registry order. I thought it did. I was a little bit mistaken. So the reason it's not doing that is because we're grabbing the entry set. And if you don't know about sets, sets are effectively unordered lists. So they don't have an order. There's no order to a set. So us actually doing this for each ordered here doesn't do anything. And in reality, if we're going to do it like this, there is no way to get it to use the order in which we're registering them in, because we have to get it from a set. So it doesn't really work. The alternative is we can technically use the iterator here, and we could use that in theory to look up the registry keys. So what we could do is we could do something like .iterator, and we could try and stream that. So actually we can stream this specifically, and then whilst streaming it, we could then map it, right? So if we then map that and then did built-in registries item.get key from said item, right? So map to get key. Yeah, let's clean this up a little bit. So let's get rid of all of that part, and we have built-in registry.item.stream. We map that. So we're going to take the item and we're going to map that, and we'll map it to map.entry. Then we can use the key like that of the item and then the item. And then here, when we go ahead and filter that, now we can just use get key.get namespace. We don't have to have the rest of it, and in theory this should then work. So then we map it back to the value, which gets us the item, and the reason of course that we need to map it to the key here is so that we can then compare it here. Now we could in fact possibly simplify this even further. So what we could do is we could filter item, and we could say item.getKey get namespace. So basically this part right here. So this objects.equals, we could take that out, put it in the filter, and effectively replace the entry.getKey with built-in registries.item.getKey.namespace, and then we don't have to map it, we don't have to filter it, and we don't have to map it again. And that, I think, will actually give us what we want. So let's go ahead and rerun the game. All right, so here I am inside of the game, and you can see that has actually gone ahead and worked. So in fact, by doing it this way, we can actually get this to work. Now, I will say, as you can see, inside the game here, you see that our blocks will come first. And the reason that's happening is because if we go into our tutorial mod class, or specifically into the common class here, you'll see that we are loading our blocks first. Now, this is the only problem with doing it this way, is that we can't define an order that combines blocks and items. It's always going to be blocks first or items first. And there isn't really a way to define that without manually setting an order, which is a shame, but that's kind of how that works. But I think this is okay. I think this is good enough. If you want to define custom orders, obviously you can go ahead and do that. But I think this is perfectly fine, and I'm happy with that. So that is it for this tutorial. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please do be sure to give it a like and subscribe. If you have any problems, free to join the Discord linked in the description down below. In the next tutorial, we're going to add a custom food. I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Goodbye.